Hello everyone, a pleasant Friday to all of you. My name is Abion Calo and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Allow me to share with you my own reflections on today's Gospel reading taken from Mark chapter 3 verses 13 to 19. In this Gospel, we can see Jesus naming His apostles. And I would like to focus on verse 14 and maybe highlight 3 points on this Gospel for our own reflections. In verse 14, it says there, "And Jesus appointed the 12, whom also He named apostles, to be with Him and to preach." What can we learn from this passage? First, we can learn that it was Jesus who chose His disciples. It is He who takes the initiative. We can read that in John chapter 15 when He says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you." But He also names His disciples, His apostles. He names them because He knows them in a very personal way. In fact, when Jesus chooses His disciples, it was not done haphazardly. In Luke's version of this gospel, in chapter 6, it says there that Jesus spends the entire night praying. And so Jesus knows exactly why He chose these men. And we know that this was crucial in His ministry because later on, these 12 apostles will be the one to spread the gospel throughout the world. Second thing is that Jesus calls Him apostles for 2 purposes. First, to be with Him. And second, to preach the gospel. That's exactly what apostle means. One who is sent. But what can we learn from this? What can we take from this? I would like to suggest 3 points for our meditation today. First, that God calls you and me. And when He calls you and me, it's not because of our qualifications. It's not because we deserve to be called by God. But God has a purpose for us. He knows us in a way that even we ourselves don't know ourselves. Jesus knows us better. And He calls us by name. And He calls us first and foremost to be with Him, to be His friend, to be His companion, to learn from Him, to be formed by Him, to be transformed by Him. And thirdly, we are called to preach the gospel, to preach the good news. So my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, it is not by accident that you and me are called. God chooses us and He calls us by name. We did not choose Him. He chose us. To be with Him, to be His friend, to become like Him. And lastly, because He wants to use you and me to preach the gospel. I pray that we will all respond to the call of God. And we should take this as a privilege to be called by the One who is all-powerful, who is all-loving and knowing. The One who created the world calls you and me to be with Him and to preach the gospel. So my dear brothers and sisters, my dear friends, if you are blessed with this reflection, I pray that you also share this to your friends. Like this page, subscribe to this page so that you will get our daily meditations. God bless us all.